welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie and welcome to the second installment of this bus build series. Before we start off this video, I'm just gonna pop in here periodically to kind of explain what the heck is going on. If you've seen my last couple videos, you know that the past 8 or so months have been really tough personally, and so I have not been keeping consistent vlogs or updated information throughout this period of time. So the clips that I do manage to film are definitely scattered and they don't make much sense all the time. So I'm going to jump in here just to kind of explain where we are in the process, how the build's been going, and I don't know, maybe provide some context in between different clips. So first of all, I want to start off by saying hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. And I guess we'll just kind of get right into the second installment of the bus build series. This will take us from, gosh, I don't even know, end of winter probably. So March, April period, through to about now, which is beginning mid-August. So that's a little bit of context of where we're starting. I would just like to say in this video, pretty much the stuff that we got done and the majority of the clips that you're going to see are sealing roof, cutting, measuring, furring strips, insulation, walls, really just the bare bones and the basics of figuring out a couple things in terms of building. And it's basically the first video of finishing demo and starting to actually build something. So there's a couple cosmetic changes as well, but a lot of it is actually now seeing the bus start to come together as something of more of a home. So let's just jump right into it. Let's start with the day. I was really excited because I got a really big delivery to my house. I have a fridge. The day that the fridge came was honestly so exciting. You can probably tell by that clip, but it was a lot to organize. This is a specific marine fridge. It was really expensive and there was only two major appliances that I really poured money into because I wanted them so badly. This fridge is one of them. It's a drawer style fridge, and it's specific marine style as well, but it was definitely big and fancy and really exciting for me to have. The other appliance is a stove, a propane stove and oven combination. Both of these I knew what brand that I wanted, and because they're not made in Canada, a lot of the appliances in my budget, I definitely budgeted for them, but I didn't do the conversions completely accurately when I was doing my kind of rough calculations and spreadsheet of what I thought the bus build would kind of come out to, which is totally fine. I couldn't always predict all of those things, but I did budget enough room to make those assumptions or guesses. So far up until this point, which we've pretty much made all the major purchases for this, I would say, we're still on track for my budget of what I assumed I would kind of be spending, which is good. But anyways, fridge delivery day was a big day. Next thing I did was moving on to sealing my roof, and like I said, fixing some of those cosmetic changes, but also really important changes in terms of integrity and safety and reliability of the actual exterior and build of the van. So roof sealing, insulation, all the sealants and all that stuff, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We're gonna seal the roof. Well, today we're sealing the roof. So basically what I've chosen to do is use this Eternabond RV roof tape for a lot of the cracks and then kind of the seams, which is holding the fiberglass bus pieces together. So I'm going to go over all of those with this really good tape essentially. And then from there, I'm basically going to be painting the entire roof with a liquid sealant that's specifically used for RV roofs. I'll show you that later, but it's the Dicor brand as well. And hopefully that will mean that my house won't get rained on anymore. Well, rained in, I guess. So that is the project for today. This is exciting. I'm gonna have a house. Okay, I forgot to mention, in order to prep this surface, last weekend I washed the entire roof and then sanded, and then I did the same thing last night as well to prep. So the entire thing has been washed and sanded and washed again. And then this is essentially what I'm planning to do with this. I think it's 4-inch Eternabond tape. You can hear my dad who's working on his projects in the backyard because we're fixing our deck, and I'm on my roof. So quite the family we have going on. Anyways, so what I'm planning to do is essentially cover, this is the biggest kind of source of leaking, apart from the actual hole. I did poke a hole in the wall, but we'll get to that later. So I'm essentially just going to be covering all of these seams, this one, and there's a small crack there. And then a lot of these seams that kind of hold the bus together, kind of going down. I'd like to do those as well. And there's a couple down the side that I would also like to do. I decided to start on the roof because if I mess up, you won't really see it. And I'm painting the whole roof in sealant anyway, so it'll kind of get covered, which is a good thing. So, oh, I'm also doing this before I've installed anything on my roof so that I don't have to kind of go around anything, which I think will work out quite well. But let's start by covering this. I also have this little roller that comes with it to kind of press down the tape. And apparently it's super sticky, so we'll try and get the alignment right the first time, but I think we'll start on kind of this piece. This crack will get overlapped twice, I believe, to make sure that we're really covering it. And yeah, wish me luck. So I'm currently painting my roof now with the fiberglass RV roof sealant, and I gotta say it's really fun. So essentially what I did is I've only done the sides where it's kind of rounded, and I've gone all the way down to the little rain gutter kind of area and basically just covered the entire sides as much as possible with a foam brush. I'm gonna go back over the entire thing with my roller afterwards, but all of the tape I've basically just covered, including all of these seams down my second door here as well, and then all along the back with the roof sealant essentially, and kind of gone in all those gaps in the tape as well, just to kind of cover everything. I'm leaving the roof white as well for some more reflection, hopefully better insulation later on, and so I don't really care how messy this is, and it's going to just dry for the rest of the day, and then I'll hopefully be able to do a second coat later this evening. But otherwise, it's been really fun. I think it looks really good too. Okay, if y'all want the truth about converting an old bus, when things go wrong and you run out of ideas of how to fix them, it's really frustrating. It's the part that I love and hate about it. Like, you just have to be really creative, and things aren't always gonna work perfectly because it's old. I love her, but she's still leaking. Yeah, I love this project, but it can be quite frustrating at the same time. So, perks and definitely some cons about a used vehicle and a bus like this. So, we're going back on the roof today. Okay, here's when we start to get into furring strips. Now, this was my first big project that had to do with building anything, really, and so, you know, tried my best. Honestly, they all turned out very well. I was quite impressed by how well the measuring and the cutting and the using of power tools went for the first time. I just have this innate sense that, like, I'm gonna figure it out, and if it doesn't work, I'd rather it kind of come back on me than anything else. In terms of safety equipment, by the way, I always had stuff covering my eyes and my feet, like closed-toe shoes and stuff, and earplugs if I was using anything a bit heavier that I needed ear protection for as well. Obviously, probably not perfect, but definitely making sure that safety was in the back of my mind at pretty much all times, especially being an amateur. And I totally had supervision, which you'll hear me talk about later because all of my neighbors and my parents are very interested in the project. We got the furring strips all bought, cut, measured, size, and everything like that. And from there, it was basically time to move on to walls and subfloor after insulation was kind of figured out. I didn't end up filming any of the insulation pieces, not for a reason in particular, but I was just kind of in the zone when I did it, probably over the course of a week, just cutting different sizes of insulation pieces, figuring out what type of construction glue to use to make sure that it all fit, all that kind of stuff, and what kind of size insulation to use and all that good stuff. So once the insulation was kind of in place and done, it was time to actually do something a bit bigger, which was working with sheets of plywood. I'm not too big of a person, so it probably looked a little bit funny, but I don't really care because I wanted to do it by myself. So I was lifting all the sheets of plywood on my own, which was totally fine. It was one of those things where, you know, people are like, oh, let me help you. And you're like, I'll do it by myself, thank you. So, slight wounds to prove, but regardless, we got all the subfloor cut, measured, we got some rants in there about what the heck was going on in the bus build series at the time, and just a quick check-in with mental health is coming up next because I think it's important. If you watched my last video, and I highly encourage you do because it means a lot, the things that I said and the things that I left out but are definitely there in some context. It's really important. If you haven't watched it, please go do it. I'll leave a link above. But let's jump into a little bit of a chat about mental health and sometimes conversations that you just need to have, whether they're with yourself or somebody else.
Pretty boy, I'm stunning. Super speed Sonic, I'm running. Super speed Sonic, I'm running. Call me Big Papa, I'm stunning.
It's hard when you're doing something like this because all of the neighbors are so interested, including my parents. So I literally look up, and anytime I'm trying something new, there's like 4 people like looking out the window, staring, watching, interested, which is cute. But just let me try it. Honestly, get me determined enough and feel like I can do pretty much anything, even when I say that I can't. You know, so far in this process, there's been a lot of times where I just have to stop and say, you're literally building a house in a school bus. Like, things are just not gonna be, like, you're doing a crazy thing. It's not gonna be perfect. Calm the hell down. You're building a house in a school bus. On another note, I did get 2 of my subfloor pieces cut and laid. They're not glued, which is why these cinder blocks are currently here, flattening them to the floor, because of course they're also not straight, like flat, like they're warped from the store. But that means our beam insulation is done, our floor insulation is done, our gaps in the floor are done, and our gaps in the windows and the walls in terms of spray foam insulation are done. So not bad. You know, there's a lot of times where I just get really excited that I'm going to be living in a vehicle. Because I just feel like driving in my car is like my safe space. I think the bus will feel like that too. I was having not a great day. I'm not really sure why. I just feel really tired and off. Happens. But I don't know. My car just feels good. It's been one of those things that in the last couple years, which, to give you some context, if you're not watching this at the time that it was published, has been in a pandemic for the past couple years, and lots of other personal things in my life has changed. Why won't this camera stay? Anyways. Yeah, my car has been there through all of it, so it feels like it's been the one consistent that just has been home for a long time, when a lot of things haven't. Oh my gosh, this won't even say. Okay, you're being annoying. But I feel like since I actually felt like this, I should probably talk about it in the moment when I feel like it, and yeah. It'll be cool to live in a vehicle. I kind of just want to stay in this all day. Another big day. I had disconnected the batteries to the bus a long time ago, and I was just too terrified to start it by myself because I just had this vision that it just wasn't going to start and I didn't know what to do, and I would just panic and freak out. So I had somebody with me when we went to go start the bus, and oh yeah. Oh my gosh, it started. I can't even believe it. I'm actually still surprised. I haven't even turned it on since that day that we started it the first time, and I like drove it around the block. There was a couple issues. My transmission lines are cracked, which, is that even the right word? I think it is. Good job, Ellie. It's not that big of a deal. I had somebody come look at it, and it's going to be totally fine for now. But something that I need to address later. Regardless, the bus started. I am shocked. But at this point, I'm going to jump into a little bit of a planning session and recap what's essentially happened from this video and the past couple months that everything's kind of gotten going. Okay. So, I haven't been in the bus in a bit. My family went on vacation to our cottage that we go to every year, and that was really nice. That was the first time that I've taken time off this year from work, and it was very much needed. I was extremely burnt out. You'll see from my other 2 videos, but obviously personally I was having a really hard year. It still is hard, but yeah, at the same time I was also working 2 jobs. My full-time job, which is in sales for an environmental tech company, and then also I was working at Good Life, the gym chain in Canada, on nights and weekends, and I was building this bus all at the same time. Not to mention going through a horrible time. So I was incredibly burnt out. I don't think I even realized how bad it was until we got to the cottage and I turned off like all of my connection to the world. Like my phone was off, and everything was just shut off, and I basically like couldn't move for 2 days. I was just so exhausted. And so, anyways, needless to say, here we are back. You'll see some updates from what I've basically been doing, and I guess the 3rd installment of the bus build series. But we now officially have all of our insulation cut and in place, except for the ceiling. All of my pieces are cut, but they're not yet up. But all the walls, the floors, and most of the subfloor is actually done at this point in time. Today I would really like to finish out the subfloor. It's already like 4 o'clock because I have to work my full-time job during the day. So it's already like 4, and I have friends coming over tonight, and then yeah, which is like the first time that I've had friends over or like seen people in a while too. So yeah, definitely a lot of changes. But I would like to get some stuff done, and there's some things that I'm just not entirely sure what to do. I think I can finish out the subfloor because I have all the materials for it. I simply just need to like measure this awkward cut in the front here, and hopefully that will go fairly smoothly. It's friggin' hot though. It's so humid in Ontario recently. But yeah, from there, honestly, I don't even know. I need to start building walls and a bed frame, and I need to get my solar ordered. I've been in contact with the company that I'm ordering from, and I would like to do a full review on them when I kind of like figure everything out, because so far they've been super helpful, and yeah, I'm hoping that everything goes smoothly there. It's quite an overwhelming process from that side of things, but yeah, I think that's pretty much what I need to do at this point. You can see that everything is now insulated, sealed, roof is sealed, windows for inside and outside are sealed, all the seams of the bus are sealed, furring strips are up, insulation is in, all of our foam on our metal beams is in, and everything is rust covered, painted, outside and in. So it's been a lot of work that hasn't really looked like anything, except now when we're kind of starting to actually build the inside here. So I'm excited to get things moving since it's already the beginning of August. And it's gonna start to get cold in here once fall kicks around in Canada. So I'm not really sure if I had a point to what else I was supposed to film in this clip, but I guess we should just try and get to work, and hopefully I like to have these videos to remember when I'm 50 and 80 and 90 ideally. And thanks for following me along on this journey so far. That's all I have to say. actually think all the cuts I did are like really close. Okay, that's good. That's like super tight. It doesn't sit all the way down because I didn't cut the angle here, and I didn't realize that it would kind of hit the armrest of the chair, which is why it's not laying down. But all of these are like, I mean, for the first try, that's not bad. Contrast to my first video when I was freezing in the winter. I would take this over snow though, so can't really complain. I'm covered in dust. And that's about catching you guys up right until August, right now. And so, at this point in time, when I'm sitting here looking outside to the bus, where it is outside this window, I do have floors down and I have most of my walls cut at this point out of all the plywood, which is super exciting. And I really can't wait to keep going. It's been a lot of challenges, but it's been exciting and good. So I hope you enjoyed this little catch-up of when I was chatting with you about what my plans were, what I was gonna do, and yeah, that'll pretty much sign off this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, thank you for listening to me ramble and kind of help connect the dots a little bit. If you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And again, as always, thank you for supporting me, this channel, and hopefully this is inspiring you a little bit to try and chase those dreams when you think maybe you not necessarily can't, but maybe it's a little bit hard to get started. Trust me, you can do anything. If you want to, you will find a way and you will do it. So have a wonderful day. Thank you all for being here. And just remember, keep sharing those stories because every adventure is worthwhile. Bye, guys.